Namo Amitabha Buddha. Hello everyone. So in today's video, I feel like sharing about how we can help others in Nianfo. So as Nianfo practitioners, I trust a lot of us, we all have this body mind or bodhicitta that in addition to our own practice, we also like to introduce Nianfo practice to as many people as possible. But how can we do that? A lot of our family, friends, they have never even heard of Amitabha Buddha. So what should we do? How can we best help them? So in this video, I like to give a few different scenarios on how we might be able to help our family and friends to practice Nianfo and eventually to also seek rebirth to the Pure Land. So we have our regular attendant who is now our co-facilitator in our daily sessions. So now in our daily sessions, we have a few different facilitators and who are rotating each day. So it's really good, and I highly recommend you to also join our daily sessions. And we're also gonna have more daily sessions starting from next week. So this co-facilitator, his father is 90 years old and not in a very good condition, and he very much like to also help him to Nianfo and to seek rebirth to the Pure Land. So in this case, if this person is at the time of near death, he doesn't have much time, then my advice, and so would be the advice of my teacher, Master Xiaokang, was to be very direct about it, to tell him that there is a Buddha called Amitabha Buddha, and what we need to do is to recite the name of Amitabha Buddha now, and also at the time of death, and even for 10 recitations, you will see Amitabha Buddha will come to receive you to the land of ultimate bliss, the land with no suffering and all bliss, and there you will obtain infinite life and infinite light. So just be really direct, and also we shouldn't worry about whether he might believe or not believe, so his own karma will take care of it, but it's really our duty and responsibility to convey the message to him as clear as possible. If he hears this enough of times, then he might believe in it, because the name of Amitabha Buddha really carries the infinite merit and the great vows of Amitabha Buddha. So there is really the assistance of the other power as well. And even if he might not believe it in this life, it plants the seeds for future liberation, for future lives. But what we need to do is to provide information to him, maybe at the time of death, at a critical time. He had heard it enough and he had nothing else to hold on to. Then he might just take deep belief in Amitabha Buddha and recite the name 10 times, and he will really see Amitabha Buddha to come and receive him. And if he still has some capacities in hearing, in seeing, then what you could do is also to show our rebirth of cases. I shared quite a few of successful rebirth cases. Just let the person know that this is definitely true. There has been so many successful rebirth cases, and this method has been practiced in China for almost 2,000 years. So know that a lot of people have sought rebirth to the Pure Land. So just try to tell him all these messages and to help him build that faith in Amitabha Buddha and in seeking rebirth to the Pure Land. As long as he has faith, then he will love to go, and then he will start to recite by himself. Let him know that death is not the end of everything. Our consciousness will still exist, and our consciousness will gain rebirth to the Pure Land. And also good to have family members who understand this to assist in Nianfo at the time of near death, to remind the person to remember to recite the name of Amitabha Buddha. So know that what you are actually trying to help him is to liberate from samsara, liberate from the suffering in the cycle of reincarnation, and to help him realize Buddhahood in one lifetime. If he can really seek rebirth in this lifetime, then you have done a tremendous job. Like, this carries infinite merit for yourself, and it will definitely help you to obtain a higher grade of rebirth. If you can help others to seek rebirth to the Pure Land, this has infinite merit. So we should really try our best to help our family members and friends to practice Nianfo and also to seek rebirth to the Pure Land. So this is the case for people who are near death, like they don't have much time, and we probably should not do it in an indirect way. If it's just at the time of death, if it's really this moment he's about to die, then you just tell him, there is a land called Ultimate Bliss, there's an Amitabha Buddha. If you recite Amitabha Buddha for 10 recitations, you can seek rebirth. Do you believe it or not? If he believes, then for the rest of the time, you just recite the name together with him. That's it. So just a few lines of information, and for the rest of the time, you recite the name together with him. So he will recite the name as well. But of course, if he is just in a not very good condition, but he still has a bit of time, then you can explain a little bit more. Okay, so these are for more like the emergency scenarios, whereas for our family and friends, they're still in a good condition and all that, what we can do is perhaps to introduce Nianfo as a meditation. If they're not so open about reincarnation and all this, they probably don't understand, then what you can do is to just introduce Nianfo as a meditation to help them obtain peace of mind in their everyday life. I trust everybody wants peace of mind, right? Nobody wants to feel afflicted and bothered and suffered in their life. So we can introduce the name of Amitabha Buddha, the Amitabha recitation, just as a daily meditation for them. And you can also invite them to our daily sessions. And as the more they practice, the more they will feel about the energy of Amitabha Buddha, because this is really the other power practice. When we practice the name of Amitabha Buddha, there is the power of Amitabha Buddha, and all these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they will really assist us in deepening our belief and faith in Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land. And after a while of their practice, you might introduce a bit more. So it can be more like a gradual approach. And this is what I do with my mother and also with my grandma. But my grandma actually has good roots in the past, so she too believed instantly, although she didn't understand anything about Buddhism or reincarnation, but she believed in what I said. So if you have family and friends, they are very open about this, then you can just share more about the Pure Land and all that. So I have a few friends, I know that they are ready to accept this, so I just share everything with them. Or some other friends, they might feel this is a bit weird, a bit strange, then I'll just share Nianfo as a meditation. And also for someone who may be like totally against it, just even meditation, they don't know why they should meditate, like for instance my grandpa, right? Then I just don't share too much, but occasionally I might mention the name of Amitabha Buddha just here and then, and slowly just planting the seed in the consciousness. So in Buddhism, we talk about the alaya consciousness. It's like the storehouse consciousness, which will store all the impressions. So maybe when he hears the name a bit more and slowly, he might take belief in the future time. Everyone has their time on their spiritual journey, so we also should not force them to accept our belief, and we also should understand that we also were not born to just practice Nianfo, right? A lot of Nianfo practitioners, Pure Land Buddhists, we have already experienced many different paths and eventually ended up in Pure Land Buddhism to really help us exit the cycle of reincarnation in one lifetime. So everyone has their own time and has their own journey, but what we need to do is just to provide the information there, and it's really up to people whether they want to believe or not believe. Also, we should not be attached to whether they believe in what we say or not, because each person has their own karma and they has their own journey. So it is not our job to sort of interfere with other people's karma, but what we can do is just to always be there to provide information, and whenever we feel they're ready, we can provide a bit more information. And also it's always important to respect others and to keep the harmony in our family and also with our friends. Especially as Buddhists, it's even more important to keep peace with everyone, and that is also the teaching of the Buddha. And when we become friendly and harmonic with others, then they might believe a bit more of what we say. And also for kids, if you want to plant seeds, maybe you could be like, if you recite Amitabha for 10 times, I'll give you a piece of chocolate. Or even before meals, you can tell them to recite Amitabha 10 times before we eat. So I also like to share an inspiring story from Master Xiaokang, the 5th patriarch of Chinese Pure Land Buddhism. So he went to an area in China to spread Buddhism. At that time, there weren't many people practice Buddhism. They didn't know about Amitabha Buddha, didn't know about Nianfo. Master Xiaokang was trying to teach them to Nianfo, and nobody cared. So what he did was that there were a lot of children outside playing, and Master Xiaokang was like, if you recite the name of Amituofo, then I will give you 1 cent. And if you recite it 10 times, I'll give you 10 cents. And all these children, they started to recite Amitabha, Amitabha, Amitabha all the time. So as the time passed by, there were lots of people reciting Amitabha because of Master Xiaokang's smart strategy. And eventually the whole town, everybody recited Amitabha. And this is the skill being adopted by great patriarchs and bodhisattvas, so we shall really learn from them. And it was also said very likely that Master Xiaokang was also an incarnation of Amitabha Buddha, because when he recited Amitabha, once there was just a little Buddha that came out from his mouth, and if he recited 10 times, there were 10 little Buddhas that came out from his mouth, like the picture we have seen. So this was definitely real stories. And after that, he told his disciples, if you could see the Buddha that came out of my mouth, then you are guaranteed rebirth. If you couldn't see the Buddhas, then you have to practice harder, and possibly also due to the lack of faith that those people couldn't see. And the others, they couldn't see, they felt guilty and repentant, and from then on they practiced even harder and eventually all sought rebirth to the Pure Land. So this was an inspiring story about Master Xiaokang, and we shall really learn from all the patriarchs and masters on how they spread the Dharma, and we shall really try our best to help as many people to practice Nianfo as possible in this world, and eventually to help all sentient beings to liberate from all sufferings in life and to seek rebirth to the Pure Land. Of course, I'm not saying that we maybe have so much ability that we could help all sentient beings, but at least this is the Bodhisattva vows. This is the intention we shall keep in our mind if we follow the Bodhisattva path, which is also the path of Pure Land Buddhism. It's a Mahayana Buddhism, so it's all about also helping other sentient beings to liberate from sufferings in addition to our own salvation. So may we all obtain rebirth to the land of ultimate bliss, and may we all aspire to perfect enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amituofo.